Hi, I am Energio. Welcome to Louder with Energio, the podcast where we're very, very, very loud about the truth. If this is your first time seeing my face, or it's the 1 billionth time seeing my face, I want to say very, very big welcome to you. And I want to tell you that I am so proud of you that you tuned in today. You may have seen the trailer, you may not have seen the trailer. If you saw the trailer and you decided, oh, this is something I need to get on board with, I'm proud of you. If you did not see it and maybe someone sent you the link, or you just found it on the internet and you were like, this is very important. I think it's something that we need to have a conversation about. I think this is something that we need to get on board with, and you joined in. I am very proud of you because there is a lot of action that needs to be taken. And we are the ones who will take that action, and I'm proud. This is the first step to taking action, and I want to say thank you and welcome. So the first question that may come to mind, and that's what we're going to be addressing in today's podcast, is why Louder with Energy, or why have we started another podcast? I think that the reason you clicked on it is maybe answer enough for some. I think that the trailer may be answer enough for some, but I think that it's important to explain why I started this in the first place, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this podcast. So let's get right into it. So about 10 to 11 months, I think exactly 11 months ago, I stumbled on a video on the internet. It was making its rounds, and that video piqued my interest in no small way, and that led me into being interested in the cultural space in the United States. And I found a lot of things, some of them scary, very informative, no doubt, very, very informative. It informed me about history. It informed me about what the future holds. And the more I studied and I researched on it, the more I wanted to know. And that's just because I like to know. I enjoy consuming information. I enjoy knowing things. I want to know something about everything. But then I realized that this particular information that I have is not the kind that you just have for having sake. It's not the kind of knowledge that you have for just knowing sake. It's the kind that needs to be shared. It's the type that you talk about. You don't just talk about them in conversations with friends where you guys discuss how the world is going, how we've taken a downward spiral in our culture. That's not the kind. It's the kind that you alert people to. It's the kind that you inform people about. It's the type that you sound the alarm about. That's the kind of information that I found. And that's why we're starting this. Let me say this. Those who do not study history are bound to repeat them. And that leads me into my first point. In short, that's the first point. Those who do not study history are bound to repeat them. So I live in Nigeria, in West Africa, and perversion is already growing. It's growing, and it's growing rapidly. We're not yet at the level that the West is at, or that the United States is at, but it is growing, and we do not have the luxury that our parents had. So if your parents grew up in the 60s, in the 70s, they did not really have as much access to the perversion going on in other countries as you do. Guess why? The internet. The internet has made it such that if something happens in a different country, you do not live in that country. You already know exactly what that thing was the exact day that it happened. So you may never have traveled beyond the shores of Nigeria, but you already know what happened in the US, what happened in the UK today. Like the slap that was heard around the globe. That same night that it happened, you knew about it, thanks to the internet. So if you do feel like you're shielded and you're protected from the perversion happening outside your country, happening outside of your sphere, happening outside of your community, think again. It's not so much the case anymore. Nobody is protected from the insanity the growing insanity in the world. So you may say, oh, I'm sane. My friends are sane. And the people who are closest to me are sane. And that's very important. You should keep a group of sane people around you. Don't have insane people around you, please. But guess what? You're living in a world. You're not living outside of the world. So it is important to be informed about the things happening in the world around you. And it is also important to do something about the things happening in the world around you. So growing insanity in the West. In the past, your parents may not have known, but you know. You may be thinking of raising kids. You may already have kids as well. You may say, oh, I'm sane, but you're going to send your kids to school. And there may be an insane person. And I'm not calling anybody, I don't mean insane in that someone is visibly mad, or they visibly or mentally lost their mind. When I say insane, I'm sure you get it. I'm sure you get it. Someone who doesn't think the way that you do, who does not hold the same moral standard that you do, is raising another child somewhere, and that child is going to come to school and meet your child and inform. And please raise strong children, raise principled children. But that still does not take away from the fact that your child is going to go to school, or maybe it's even the insane person who is going to be teaching your child. I know it's already happening in the US. So who is to say that it's not going to get here soon? And we do not even have 20 years anymore. We probably do not even have 15 years. Maybe not even 10 years. Because of the internet, everything is so close. Nothing is so far away anymore. Nowhere is so far away anymore. So you cannot sit your children to just watch anything. You cannot leave them in front of a screen. Oh, something is going to come for them. Perversion is lurking around the corner. And that's why I've started this. To get you informed about the things that have happened. If you're able to study history, you'll be able to avoid repeating them. So that we do not just sit down and watch and fold our hands, and then our world is being destroyed by perversion. All right. So that's why I have started this podcast. That's why there is Louder with Energio. We're going to scream the truth louder than any lie that has ever been told. I'm here to inform you about what's happening in the world so that you can take action. So that brings me to the second reason. The second reason is just as important as the first. It's to build a community of people who hold the same moral standard. So, if there are 10 people in a room and 9 of them are insane, now I'm talking about a mental illness. If 9 of them are insane and only one person is sane, it would be logical to conclude that the 9 people are probably sane and it's just that one person who is insane. Or that one person will see himself as insane because he's not insane. It's not the norm in the room. It's not what is normal in the room. He'll probably become like them very soon because that's all that he knows, insanity. That's all that he sees, insanity. So we're here on this podcast to build a community. If you're already at the point where you feel like you're the one who is not sane anymore, or you're beginning to lose doubt and you're like, is it worth protecting the moral standard that I hold? Or you're like, oh, everybody is doing it. It seems like I'm the only person who is not doing it. I can assure you, there are many people like you. There are many, and that's why we have this podcast. We'll create a community of people who are still morally sound, who call out the truth for what it is and call out the lie for what it is. People who are able to say, oh, this is not true. Oh, this is not right. It is so wrong. That's what we're trying to do here. So when we put it out and then you comment and then you share, you're making it obvious to someone else who is already thinking like all hope is lost, thinking that all hope is lost rather. That's what we're here to do. We're here to build a community. We're here to be loud. Together, we'll be louder. If it's just one person, that person's voice may not be as amplified. But if it is me and you and everyone watching this podcast right now talking about it, We will go farther than we can ever imagine. I want you to know that you are not insane for holding on to the truth. I want you to know that you have not lost your mind by not giving in to the pervasion in the world. You are very much sane, and that's what it should be. And so every time that we post a podcast, please do well, comment, have a conversation. Let's be respectful in the comment section. Have a conversation. Let it be a conversation that spreads. It should not just end here. Let there be people who find you, who find this community, and know that there is work to be done, and that they are not alone. They are not standing alone in fighting the pervasion in the world. So this is the first episode. I'm glad that you've watched it. Again, those who do not study history are bound to repeat history, to repeat it. All right. So thank you for tuning in today. I'm sure that I have been able to let you know, or to communicate, why this podcast is very, very important and very time sensitive. So if there are other people who are doing exactly this, please support them. Please make their voices louder. If we have 1,000 of us doing this, it's still not enough. I want you to know. So as you share this, if you find someone whose message resonates with you as well as this one does, whether they are doing it at this level or smaller or bigger, support them. That's how to build community. That's how to take a stand. All right. Thank you so much. My name is Energio. Until the next time, this is Louder with Energio.